Hi guys, and today we're going to be reacting to the odd1sout, my cardboard boat racing experience. So anyway, this is basically an odd1sout video. We have not reacted to something in a while because my microphone hasn't been working really, and yeah. So I just wanted to return with reacting, and we usually react to all music, but once in a while we're gonna react to like odd1sout or stuff like that. I have the captions on just in case if the sound for this video is a tiny bit wonky, so you can read the captions. Okay. Anyway, without further ado, let's start this video. Clickety clack, smack.
What's in the box? I said, what's in the box? I said, what's in the box?
Whoa.
I can make a great boat out of this. So this one time when I was in the 3rd grade, for some reason our teacher thought it would be a good idea to get his
But at the beginning, it was like, pew, pew, pew. Like, that was insane.
entire class to participate in a cardboard boat race. Cardboard boat racing is this event where teams of people build their own boats out of cardboard and then race against other people's cardboard boats. Now, you might...
I didn't do that in 3rd grade. I mean, it sounds pretty cool if you actually did do that in 3rd grade. Like, if you build your own boat in, like, ocean near your city or something, you just go there and race them, that'd actually be pretty cool. I mean, that sounds actually really fun, in my opinion.
Might be thinking that cardboard really isn't the best material to make a boat out of. And you're right.
Yeah, I was
Cardboard
thinking
is cheap.
that.
You can get big pieces of it, and they float in the water for a little bit. Perfect for making boats out of. It's good, short-lived entertainment. It's yachts of fun. Apparently, a lot of other schools got their students to do cardboard boat racing. I thought it was just a strange thing my teacher made us do. But if other teachers did it, I guess he wasn't the only weirdo. I don't know what cardboard boat racing is supposed to teach you. Maybe teamwork skills and shipbuilding. I mean, it would come in handy if I was stranded on an island with cardboard and duct tape and I could tell everyone, don't worry, guys.
That's true, because if you had cardboard on an island, especially lots of cardboard, if you have lots of cardboard on an island, and you have tape and cardboard, you can just build a boat and just sail across. But one problem I have with that is cardboard can get wet, and when it gets wet, it's more easier for you to break into the cardboard. So basically, if you're sailing with the cardboard, basically if you sink, there's no way back, or the cardboard can get wet. And it's not really that stable because it's kind of like paper. If it gets wet, just drips down, kind of. But anyway, we'll just watch the rest.
Hey guys, I learned how to make boats out of these things in the 3rd grade. But no one else in my school did cardboard boat racing. It was just my class. And I think part of the reason we did this was because the class I was in was an honors class. So we were better than everyone else. Guys, I need to tell you about how friggin' smart I am. So in the 2nd grade, everyone took this test to see if you would get put into the honors class, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember taking it. I just remember my mom sitting me and my twin sister down and telling us that we weren't going to be in the same class anymore because I made it into the honors classes and my sister didn't. Loser! The honors program was called...
The one thing that I have a question about is when, the test was going on, 2 plus 2, he said it equals 5. It equals 4. I like joking around and say it equals 22. I mean, 2 plus 20 equals 22 when it was 0. I mean, it could.
Called DOGS, which stood for Dang! Original Gangsta Students. Okay, that's not actually the name I set up.
It's not Dang Original Gangster Students. That's so funny.
Got accepted into DOGS, you stayed in the DOGS program for the rest of elementary school. So I basically had the same kids in my class for 5 school years. And our class became known as the DOGS kids. I think since I was in the dogs program, I wasn't bullied nearly as much as I should have been, because everyone in my class was a huge nerd. Also, I never really learned how to interact with people socially, because I already knew everyone in my class. So all the dogs were cool with each other, but all the non-dogs hated us. They thought that us dogs thought that we were so much better than them, and we were. Now call me old...
I mean, they're more smarter, that's true, because if they made it into the dog class, basically, that basically means they're smarter than some people. And that's totally okay, because people are at different levels of math and stuff. So, I mean, okay.
Old-fashioned, but I think the third grade is a little too soon to tell if you're smart or not. I would say that the dogs program did not make me a smarter person. I don't speak for everyone, this was just my experience, but in high school, my twin sister was a way better student. High school didn't have the dogs program, so me and my sister were in the same classes again, and she was a straight A student while I was about a straight B and C student. So all the math I've learned is telling me that something's not adding up. It probably had nothing to do with being in the honors program in elementary school. I probably just procrastinated a lot in high school. Okay, now let's get back to the actual topic of the video. Leading up to the event, the teacher wanted us to stay after school to help make the boats, and I, being the loyal dog that I was, stayed after school exactly 0 times. Sorry dudes, I take the bus home, and last time I missed the bus, my mom got mad at me and I cried, and she had to pick me up. So actually, if I was deserted on an island...
I can't believe it. Seriously, he would just go home? Like, I mean, if you could build a boat after school, I definitely would.
And I wouldn't be much help. I would have to get my mom to pick me up. This event was at a medium-sized man-made lake in Arizona, because we don't have real lake, they're all man-made. And it was right next to a college, and a lot of college kids like to get drunk there. We ended up making 2 boats. One was white, and one was blue with a dragon head at the front and a tail in the back, and they both could hold 10 people.
That's actually a pretty good idea, because, I mean, there could be 20 classmates in the dog group in 3rd grade, so basically, if you fit 10 people in each boat, it would work. And I also like the dragon design for that. If they made that up in their mind, that would be, like, really cool. Like, a dragon boat is kind of like, in, like, fairy tales and stuff. So I think that's actually really cool.
People. There wasn't enough room for everyone in the class to get a spot on the boat.
What?
The kids who actually
They
helped
must
build
been
it got a
like
reserved
23.
seat. But since I was a scrawny white boy that didn't take up much space, I got to sit in the very front because they were the coolest and smallest seats. The person who I sat next to was this girl named Priscilla. I still keep in contact with her, and I asked if I could say her name in this video, and she said yes. Later in life, she was the first girl to ever slap me. I didn't ask permission to tell that story. While we were waiting for our turn to race, my dad got me a snow cone, and that snow cone was the very first time I remember getting a brain freeze. It hurts to eat this. Yeah, they do that. When it was our turn, we rowed the boat out, and we actually stayed afloat. I mean, it was only a couple inches away from sinking, but it worked. My mom told me beforehand that if the boat sunk, I should kick off my shoes, because that would weigh me down and I would drown. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Mom. And I remember being so afraid of the boat sinking. Not because I could drown, but because I didn't want to lose my shoes. So there we were, a bunch of 8-year-olds in a glorified cardboard box on a lake with 3 other boxes filled with drunk college students. The course we had to take was pretty simple. It only had 2 left turns. Should have been a piece of cake. And we were doing pretty good until we had to make the first left turn. We messed up on that part. We practiced turning on land all the time. But for some reason, when we were in the water...
The reason it's probably different on water is because water, you can sink. It's kind of like 0 gravity. Like, astronauts practice in water with, like, 0 gravity. So the reason is, glass, stable. You can't sink. You can't put your arm through it. Only if you're invisible. Which, there's no such thing as invisible. Anyway. If you practice on land, it's going to be way different on water. Because it can possibly sink. And on the glass, it won't sink. So, that's probably why.
Our turning maneuver wasn't working. We kind of just drifted forward. We were pretty much all stranded. We didn't know how to drive this thing, and we were running out of time since the cardboard doesn't last that long when it's wet. But there were these lifeguards/helper people going around in canoes, and one person came up to our boat and he just kind of pushed it with his paddle and he turned the boat. and we were back in the race. Well, actually, by this point, everyone else had already completed the course. But we were still floating, we were still going to finish this. When it came time for the second turn, the same thing happened. We didn't learn anything. They never taught us this in honors classes. By this point, the next 4 people racing just went. They got tired of waiting. And while the canoe boat guy was trying to teach us how to turn, the other boats just passed us. Eventually, we did get the turning thing down.
The reason is you should probably not practice on land. I mean, you can kind of practice in like a tiny lake with shallow water. And plus, like, if he practices on land, probably the other people definitely practice on water. Like, they might have picked a shallow water to practice their boat. So that's one problem that they had. That's probably why they got last place.
Down and we made it back to shore. The boat stayed up the entire time. Out of the 4 people we raced against, we came in 8th. I kind of wish something bad did happen, like the boat flipped over or a shark ate one of the kids. That would have been a better YouTube video. But that also would have been lying. And then afterwards, the president came down and high-fived all of us. And to prove I'm not lying, here's some pictures of me in front of the boat. We had to take the dragon head off because it's...
Yes, so one fact about odd1sout is he tells real stories. He literally tells real stories that actually happened. So he's not lying about this. All this stuff about building a boat and stuff, it actually was true. So that's actually really cool. It's a fun fact about odd1sout. Everything he does, literally, it's basically what happened in his life.
It didn't fit with all of us, but we kept the tail. And you'll also notice how cramped the seats are and the girl who later on slaps me. Here's a boat with a roof. Here's a picture of the snow cone that gave me my first brain freeze. Here's us in the water next to a pretty big boat. And look, our other white boat is getting blocked off by the bigger boat. Notice how our boat is going in the wrong direction and how close we are to being submerged. And here's a picture of the grown-ups carrying the boat out of the water after a long day. And I'm not in this picture. I wanted to get to land as soon as possible. Here's a picture of me during Halloween. I dressed up as a ninja. I think it was the Halloween after the bunny. And there's a plushie of a Neopet in the background. Do you guys remember Neopets? All my Neopets are probably dead now. Here's a picture of me with a giant pencil. It's actually a model rocket, but it looks like a pencil. Isn't that adorable? Remember my science fair video where I launched rockets? Yeah, this wasn't that time. This is a completely different model rocket.
I'm gonna react to his science video next, because he gave me an idea to react to it.
And here's me in a tub of animal plushies. And this bird plushie right here was actually my favorite. I got him from someone else's birthday. It was in a goodie bag. It was a pirate-themed birthday. So it was like, a little tiny parrot. I really liked that bird. His name was Birdie, and now he's gone. And here's me dressed up as Galileo. Yay! A new video is done. Sorry it's been like a month since my last video. I've been busy with 3 conventions all back-to-back. But it's good now. Those are all done. Videos should be coming back on a normal schedule. And by normal schedule, I mean twice a month. It's so weird seeing these old pictures because in my head, I remember the exact moment when I sat down in the boat and being super cramped and having to row with my kneecaps pressed against my chest. And I remember that
the reason is they're third graders. Third graders don't really know how to build a boat.
Snow cone too, and just not knowing why it hurt to eat it. And now I'm looking back at these old pictures and being like, oh, I was a different person back then. I can't end this video without mentioning the person who helped make this video come out on time. And that person this week is Ginger Pale again. Thanks, man. He helped color. And also Foot of the Ferret helped get some of the sound effects for the intro of the video. Thanks, writer. So everyone give them a big old hug and wear your seatbelt.
Okay, so that's the cardboard boat racing experiment. So that was pretty cool that he talked about, like, what happened, the brain freeze. I bet that would definitely have got me a brain freeze. But that's cool that he really does most of these videos about his life. Like most of these videos are about his real life. He might add in some stuff to make it more funny, but in my opinion, this is definitely a yes. So this is yes, it's not a no, because it's just good. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll do